Hello crafty friends, this is Laura from Stitching by the Shore, a channel all about cross stitch and a little bit of crafty stuff built into. And today we are going to combine scrapbooking and cross stitch and create a couple of fully finished pieces with these two stitch pieces. This one on the left is from By the Bay Needleart, and this one is from Satsuma Street. And I finished them a while ago, and I have been super excited to try this technique of combining my cross stitch with pictures and scrapbooking. I've done some without any pictures, but these two pieces were stitched for specific reasons and have a lot of memories, so I thought I would do a combination. So let's put this one to the side for a minute and just concentrate on this one. First off, what I've done is once I've gotten these stitched, I always put, you can see here, interfacing on the back of the piece. And so this way, when I go to adhere the stitching to the cardstock, the tape is actually going to attach to this rather than my stitching, and it keeps it a little bit more stable and secure. It's a little thicker. And then I've already gone ahead and I've already cut these down to the sizes that I want. So I know pretty much what I'm looking for there. Every once in a while when you're doing it, you may get a few edges that will start to come up a little bit. And all I do is take a scissors and snip that. So if any come up as we're doing this, you might see me doing that. And that's just so that there's no stray pieces. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out what color cardstock that I want to use for the piece. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying to pull out some of the colors in the piece itself. And I decided I really wanted to look at some of these kind of greens, blues. It's a combo. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to call that color, but that's the color I wanted to pull out. And I wanted to go light, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So when I was looking through my cardstock and pattern papers, I found this, and it's a double-sided cardstock or pattern paper, I guess you'd call it. And so I'm going to not use this green side, I'm going to use this blue side. And because I have a lot of pictures, we did a lot of family vacations up in Maine, I decided I wanted to make this a two-piece spread. So you probably won't see all of it at the moment in the picture, but I'll show them as I'm going along. So basically in the scrapbook, they will both be side to side. And so when you open up that page, it'll be a two-page spread and you can see all of it together. So once I've picked that out, and I went and I printed off all sorts of pictures, and then basically it's just a puzzle, right? Trying to figure out where everything should fit. And I already did this a little bit, and I cut down my pictures a little bit. Usually I print off 4x6s, but you could do any size. You could do square ones, you could do smaller, larger, if you wanted, and kind of just play and combine them. But before I put the pictures down, I did think that just placing this right here on this pattern paper was a little blah. And so I wanted to add a couple layers of matting. And let me grab those so that it would pop it up a little bit. Now originally, and this is a little bit bigger because I tried a different size first. I was originally layering this onto this. And this is Ocean Tides cardstock from Papertrey Ink. And it's a perfect match with that, I think. But let's put it up closer for a minute. I still felt it needed something else. So what I did was then I looked through some more of my cardstocks and I pulled this one out. Now this one is too close to the base that I didn't want to just have this. This one right here is it's Ocean Mist from Gina K Designs. So when I put this on there, again, the colors look great, but if I just had it on its own, it would completely blend in. So I basically, a lot of times when I do matting, it's a 1/4 inch more than what my piece is. So I'm just throwing out numbers. If this was 4 by 5 1/4, then we would do 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and just keep going up by 1/4 inch. That way you have just a small tight layer. Now, sometimes I want bigger layers than that, so I might go up more than that. But for these, I just wanted tight layers. And see how that'll give it a little bit of dimension and it'll raise it up a little bit. And these colors match what's in the stitching as well as really the same family as the base cardstock. The base cardstock, if you were wondering, is, I'm going to keep calling it cardstock even though it's paper, is from the Simply Coastal collection. It's Kiwi / Seaside. This would be the Seaside piece. And this is from Simple Stories. And I was able to buy this in just the 2 pieces. So it was perfect. I have it just enough for the 2-page spread. And that's great about places like scrapbook.com. You don't always have to buy the full set. If they have the single pieces available, you're able to just buy that. So if you had pieces done and you wanted to start scrapbooking them, you wouldn't have to make a huge commitment on what kind of, how many pieces of cardstock you wanted. So I had already split my pictures up. And so I'm going to just show you real quick. I think what I'm going to do is I have these 2 of the kids, and I kept them the same height. And then I did cut them down a little bit so that they'd fit. These pieces are 12 by 12s. And I wanted to say these are 4 by 6 pictures. And then I decided that I would do, I have this in a nice black and white. So I think that's what I'm going to put right there. Now, what I'll do from here is probably just play around. And I do have, so I have a set from, and I think it's also Simple Stories. Does it say it inside? Yes, it is Simple Stories. I have a set of different washi tapes. And this came as a set like this. I'm really liking this one. So I'm curious if I might put some of that to frame the pieces or do something else with it. The colors will match. Everything will go nicely. So that might work. I also have 2 different sheets of stickers, and we have by the Sea element sticker, and this is Carta Bella. And then we have from the Simple Stories set there, this is the Simple Vintage Seas. And they're both 2 different sets of stickers, and I've been playing around in what I want to do with them. So you might see something with these as well. I love this one, but I'm not sure fit-wise it will work type of thing. So we'll see. And then, so let's put this aside. This is how the general layout I think will work with this one. And then what I decided to do too was, do you see how the paper is broken up, mostly dark, slight, light? So what I ended up doing was doing it so that the light edges will be on both of the outer edges of the pages when I'm done. And this is going to be a very picture heavy piece. I don't have any other Nubble stitched pieces. So I just have so many pictures that I decided I really wanted to do a 2-page layout to really bring out some more memories. And so I'm playing around with this. I think I'll find some stickers, and I think I'll put something up there. I thought about doing it this way too and put something there. So that might happen as well. I did, the top and the bottom are the exact same length, and this one is slightly smaller. I purposely did that, and I think I want to keep it that way. As I'm putting them down, if I decide I want to trim these to be the same as this, then I'll do that. I don't want to do that on camera because my paper cutter is a guillotine and it is pretty loud. So we don't want to do that. And I decided I didn't want to mat any of the pictures because I loved the full picture. I really didn't want to cut them down anymore so that I have room for matting. If I did, I would have used probably those same colored cardstocks to really just bring out everything. So I think, you know, looking at this more and more, I think I will cut these 2 down a little bit and have them equal to that. So we'll have 1 straight row there. And then I can start doing the adhering. I do use double-sided tape. I buy these, just the rolls, and I put them in the tape dispenser, and it works great. And I've been using this for years and years on scrapbooking, paper crafting. I've been using them for my stitching scrapbooks, and it's worked really well. So there will be some finagling and some stickers or something, or washi tape on here. So let me put those aside for a minute. And when we get done with them, I'll show you. This is the other piece that I wanted to do. When Megan was in high school, one of her classes, they went to Amsterdam, and it was an educational kind of trip over spring break. It kind of matched with some of the class she was doing. And, you know, they went a few other places. So I stitched this kind of, because that was a big trip, and she had a lot of great memories for it. So at some point she may want to take this in, because I used pictures that she herself took. So when I went and I grabbed a piece of cardstock, and this is just straight, it's actually a double-sided piece. And on this side, you can see it's kind of a Swiss dot look, which I didn't want, but I did want this for this color. I thought when I put these against it, it's a little bit different than, say, this periwinkle, but it kind of pulls out those colors. It matches well with my fabric, and even just some of all the oranges and reds. So that's the piece I decided to go with. And this is just a straight, you know, 12 by 12 as well. And I moved around where I wanted it. And given the pictures I had, I decided I was going to put it in this corner down here. And you can see there's a tiny little piece right here that I'll probably snip off. I may not have this 100% cut evenly, but really it doesn't matter. It's all just, we're all looking at the stitching and the pictures. We're really not looking at how close my borders are. So Megan sent me some pictures, and I was able to use almost all the ones that she sent. I thought these looked really cute up top here. And so what I'm going to do is, they are the same. I did cut them down to the same height again. And I'm not going to do any matting on this one because I have just enough pictures that it's going to work perfectly. And I think I might go up a little on that. And then we might put this up a little bit. So the break in between here might be a little bit bigger than down here, but that's okay. And then I had to get, she had gotten some tulips, so I had to get those. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to layer this picture with this one because I thought they were great. I didn't want to cut anything else farther down. So what I did was I cut these the same width, and I'm just going to layer one literally on top of the other, and I'll adhere it that way. And so in the end, they'll look something like that. And so this way, I think, obviously, again, I might make these a little bit closer to equal. I'm not one that measures to the milli-inch. I know that's not a measurement, but you know what I mean. I'm not one that is so particular that everything has to match everywhere. I eyeball all of it. So this is about the general look. And then the last thing I always attach is the stitched piece. So this way, if I wasn't 100% sure or I wanted to readjust it or even resize it a little bit, I have that option. So that's the last thing I'll do. So I think this is what you're going to see. And because it fills that 12 by 12 really nicely, you're not going to, I don't need to add anything else. So really all I needed to do was print some pictures off, have one piece of cardstock, and this finish will be done. So I'm going to do a little bit of playing around, some cutting, some taping, and all that fun stuff. Again, using just this tape, and I will be back in a little bit, hopefully with some finished pieces. Okay, I am back with my finished pieces. I'm super excited to show them to you, and I love them. So let's first start with the one-page layout that I did, and here we go. Here is the final piece of the layout. I'm just making sure that you can see it. Make sure I get it all in the camera. There we go. This is all adhered down, and then I kept these exactly as I said I would. I did end up cutting the tulips down a little bit so I could get a little bit more of this picture, and they are even in size that way, so that I literally taped this one to that one and just layered it that. So now I have a great little layout of Megan's trip and the stitch that goes with it. And I will put the information on the back of this piece of the stitching part of it. Plus I will also put any information about the pictures. So this way, if anybody were to pull this piece out, they'd be able to see about the trip as well as about the stitching. So that's the first one. And then I love this next one. I'm not sure I can get both pages in the camera because of it being 12 by 12. Let me see how well that works. Actually, it looks like I might be able to do it. There we go. So here's my 2 pages here, my 2-page layout for the stitched piece right here. So this is Nubble Lighthouse, and this is by the Bay Needleart. And I pretty much did what I told you I would do. I did end up cutting down these two pictures right here. So this row is all, for the most part, even. I don't know if you were to put a ruler, it might not be, but it looks close enough. I ended up putting a few different stickers in between these two because I thought that looked kind of nice and kind of simple there. So that was that piece. And then, as I said, I did the double matting on my stitched piece to bring out the colors in the stitched piece and to also give it a little bit of a raised dimension so it's a little bit higher than everything else. I originally did not have this black and white photo matted, but it just looked kind of blah against the background cardstock. And since Nubble, if you've ever been there, if you look at the pictures here, the roof is red, the little building is always red, everything's red. So I thought that that would be a really nice component to bring out, would be to bring the red out. So I did that. And before I attached that, I just ran a layer of washi tape there. And then I adhered this over the edge of the washi tape. I originally thought I would do a double layer of tape, but I didn't like any of the different combinations. So I ended up putting just a simple sticker there. I thought about putting some stickers on either side, but you know me, I'm usually a less is more kind of person. So I kind of liked it at this, and I love this. This reminds me of, excuse me, many trips to Maine. As you can tell, the kids are different ages in a lot of these pictures. And just, this is something we did every single time we went. And so I've tied in my stitching with my memories. And I think this is my favorite piece I've created of scrapbook stitching so far. I absolutely love it. And yeah, so that's about it with that one. So those are the two stitched pieces that got scrapbooked today. And hopefully there'll be more. I loved combining the pictures with the stitching, and not every stitch piece will have pictures because not everyone has a meaning, or, you know, if I did something that was summer, I could add some sort of summary pictures, but I think it's a really nice combination. And something like this, for example, since it's a one page, or you could even do like this one part of it, the front page. If you wanted to stick these in a 12 by 12 shadow box and rotate pictures and stitching out, I think that would look fantastic. Any size shadow box, depending on what size you've finished your pieces in. If you had a small stitched piece like this one and you just had one photo with it, you might be able to do a different size box. But there's lots of different ways if you wanted to display them or show them. But I really think too that this will be a nice kind of memento for the kids at some point. If one of them, you know, if Megan wanted to take this piece down the road, the stitched piece, she may not have wanted to put it somewhere, but now that it's combined some of the pictures in her memories, that might be something that she would want a little bit more. So, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I hope I gave you some ideas, and I hope you liked it too. And I'm hoping to have more and more combos like that, maybe some mixed media, and just basically just some just scrapbooked pieces of my stitching, because you know how much I love doing that. So stay tuned. Hopefully there will be more, and sometimes I might not have them in the have extra videos, and I'll just show them in my regular floss tubes if it's just a simple finish. But who knows? We might have some more scrap with me's down the road. If there's a type of question or technique or something you wanted to ask me about, feel free and I'll do my best. If it's something that I could do a video for, I'll do that too. All right, until next time, happy crafting.